So this video is a continuation of the last video of helping you build your interview skills and just land that job. So previously we talked about structure, specifically the STAR format, and I explained the importance of connecting your role to the goal or mission of the entire organization. We're going to cover that again in this video, but you really want to figure out a way to capitalize and maximize the impact that you communicate. So today I'm going to get specific and I'm going to teach you how to answer the most common interview question, one that you definitely will have to answer. And it's the statement, tell me about yourself. Now, I'm going to give you an example and then I'm going to dissect the structure of how I crafted this answer so you can use that structure and apply it to your own answer. So here it is. So a character trait that I've developed over the years is my knack for the details. And I'll be honest with you, growing up as a kid, I was a pretty slow learner. I remember in middle school, and I was studying for this bio test, and for some reason I couldn't grasp the concepts. I'd pull all-nighters and visit my teacher, but still I couldn't get that grade that I wanted. And I've come to the realization that it takes a while for me to really absorb and study the material. But you see, through the struggle over the years, I've come to develop a very strong habit because even though it takes a while for me to pick up concepts, specifically in science, I hate science, I really made up for it by being relentlessly detailed. So for all my tests, I make it a mission to not make a single careless mistake. Every mistake that I made could only be due to not knowing the concepts. So today my learning has improved, mostly because I no longer study science, but this quality has stuck with me through high school and onto college. So I'm currently interning at Wyndham Hotel Group, where I help a hotel better understand its financial performance by processing raw data into useful accounting information. And due to my skill of being detail oriented, I've really been able to succeed. And I'm now looking for a job opportunity where I can continue to capitalize on the strength of being focused on my work, specifically in the public accounting industry. So we are going to dissect this answer, starting with the first chunk of the answer, the story. So what was the purpose of talking about my childhood and growing up? I gave an anecdote where I literally exposed myself. So the purpose of a story is to highlight a characteristic or quality that you identify with. The purpose of a story is to highlight a characteristic or quality that you yourself identify with. You use that story to illustrate who you are as a person. Now, a lot of people get the misconception that the tell me about yourself question is asking you to go on a 20-minute monologue of your life story. But no, the interviewer doesn't give a rat's ass about your life story. But the interviewer does care about what kind of characteristic or quality that you have. Now, here's the most important point. If you were to take away anything from this video, I want it to be this. The quality that you choose as your identity in this answer has to be something that the business needs. The quality that you highlight has to be something that the business needs. When I told you I'd bring this point up in every video, I was not kidding. So if you notice, something I did include in the story as well is conflict. I introduced something that I struggled with, and you got to be careful here because I mentioned how I struggled in school, but there was a study done by Paul Zak. He's a professor at Claremont University, and he found in his study that character-driven stories that have some sort of conflict or struggle cause a person to connect with you more, because what happens is they relate to you and they're able to emotionally connect with the character that you mentioned. So they're able to emotionally connect with you. And it can really help to include some kind of struggle or conflict. Now be careful here. You want to avoid a few things. First of all, do not, I repeat, do not talk about personal issues. Do not get personal. It's going to get awkward because you're straying away from the purpose. The purpose is to use the struggle to highlight a quality that you identify with. It is not to tell your life story. And to go off this, if you go too deep into the struggle or conflict, you're going to come off as someone that's ranting and complaining. So, I could have easily talked about struggling in high school where, subjects are so hard and I felt inadequate. You're now going off on a rant and you're going too deep into a struggle where it makes it so easy for the interviewer to just cut you out. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is you don't want to make the interviewer have some sort of concern. For example, I probably would not use this story to apply to a company in healthcare. I literally said I was a dumbass in biology, so you got to be smart about it. And if you think about it, I also saved myself by saying that, today my learning has gotten a lot better. This way, they don't have concerns that I am still a slow learner. Now, once the story is done, it's a very, very, very seamless transition to the next part where you can connect this quality to a current or recent work experience. And I'd say you can keep this part short because the interviewer usually would follow up with a question that allows you to elaborate. So I talked about working at Wyndham where it was just 1 or 2 sentences where I mentioned connecting my detail-oriented quality to this particular experience. And to communicate your impact, the best way is to connect your role to the entire organization, right? So notice I didn't focus on just creating the journal entries. I talked about the high-level purpose I was involved in, how I was helping the company fulfill their business need. Finally, we end the answer with your goal. And this can be fairly brief. I've provided a template, but the idea is to express your interest in working for a company that allows you to further capitalize on your strength. And since you've strategically chosen a quality that you know the company needs, they're going to think, cool, this guy's goals aligns with our business need. Works out. So I'll recap the structure by using another example. So let's say you're applying to a business development job that requires someone that's good with people. I can say something like, so I love connecting with people. I always tell the story of when I was in high school where I joined the water polo team, and at the time I didn't know how to swim. But my friends told me it's like playing tag in the pool, but it turns out it's more like wrestling in the pool. So needless to say, I ended up as a bench warmer. Now, to this day, I still am a horrible, horrible swimmer, but when I was on that team, I adapted. And I realized that I was able to add value to that team by being the best cheerleader a water polo team could ever have. I was better than the cheerleading squad. And I was a huge asset in building that team morale. And this quality has stuck with me through college, where I'm now the brand ambassador at Amazon. I am a part of a marketing campaign to expand the brand presence of its membership program, Amazon Student, into the college demographic. And I would say I've been successful because of my ability to connect with and influence others. So today I'm looking for a career opportunity to further advance my strength in building relationships, specifically in business development in the tech industry, because that's where my passion lies. So part 1 is the story. I used my story of not knowing how to swim via water polo to highlight a quality that I choose to identify with, my strength of being able to foster relationships. So in part 2, the point here to make is that you want to connect your impact to the entire organization, right? So I didn't focus on setting up booths on campus and giving people free shit. Seriously though, that's all I did at Amazon. I focused on my role in relationship to the organizational goal, how I was involved in helping Amazon get this marketing campaign going. Finally, I end my goal expressing an interest in working for a company that aligns with my current skill sets. So, I use this structure to help you answer the tell me about yourself question or statement, but this structure can really be used for any open-ended question where you need to talk about yourself. So this structure would actually be a really good structure for answering tell me a strength that you have. And finally, you can even use this structure as an introduction at a networking event. Because with the structure, you start with who you are, your identity, and this is illustrated by your story. You then support this identity with a current work experience, and you talk about how you are currently living this identity, and you end with the goal, what you want to do with this identity.